4th Avenue to Techwood Drive, O'Leary to Key. It's WreckTalk!
What is going on, everyone, and welcome to WreckTalk in the first ever WreckTalk report. Now, this is just an excuse for me, honestly, to talk about the games of the weekend, what I liked, what I didn't like, what I thought was stupid, what I thought was smart, and also address some of the comments. Man, I love reading the comments that are just a morass, a chasm of stupidity. That's honestly why I love college football so much. Who should we talk about first? Let's just get this out of the way. Now, I've already made a video basically giving Colorado fans their medicine. These guys spent an entire offseason losing everything that made their team marginally good and able to beat a bunch of 5-7 teams that no one's ever given a shit about. They said, we lose our top 4 wide receivers, we lose the greatest quarterback of all time, and they still thought they were going to be better and boat race Georgia Tech right out of Boulder. I tried to tell you. You told me, why are you talking about all these guys from last year? Why are you talking about all these guys from last year? We got this Omarion guy. We got Caden Salter that lost to Kennesaw State. We got Juju Lewis. We got the best defensive line in the country. We got cover 2 and cover 1 defense. We got altitude. What happened? Georgia Tech spotted you 3 possessions and still covered the line. You want to know why? And this is the truth, and it's going to become apparent very soon. Colorado is dog shit, and Deion Sanders doesn't know what he's doing. Again, we spotted you more turnovers than timeouts Deion Sanders pocketed. Go back and watch that game. One, because they want to talk about the altitude, Caden Salter was sucking more wind on that last drive than anyone on the Georgia Tech defense was. So I guess he hadn't got acclimated to it yet. You take a sack, you get stopped short of the down to gain with 1 minute and 2 seconds left. When he takes 10 seconds, Caden Salter takes 10 seconds to scramble to get out of bounds, there's about 30 seconds left in the game. That's 2 to 3 more plays you could have ran if you just took the timeouts that are given. Deion, you get 3 timeouts a half, you can use them whenever you want. You can use them whenever. There ain't no stipulations on it. It's not like trying to break a cable contract or something where you got to talk to 4 different people in India. You don't have to do any of that to use a timeout. You use them whenever you want. You want to know why he didn't? And I honestly believe this. Deion Sanders didn't care about that game. His sons are gone. Travis Hunter's gone. Deion Sanders just wanted to get back home, guys. Look at him. Don't take my word for it. Go back and watch that game. He's on the sideline just taking his headset off before the game is even over, not talking to his coordinators. He don't care. He does not care. The comments that I've seen from you guys after this game is something else too. The copium is strong in Boulder. I've seen Colorado was the better team. Georgia Tech just played better. Guys, when a team spots you 3 turnovers and still covers, that means by a large margin, they're a better team than you. Coaching, talent, really talent. What it tells me is Colorado's not near as talented as they think they are, and honestly, I think they're dog shit. I think you're going to struggle to make a bowl this year, and it's going to be Deion's last year in Boulder. Thousands of deleted tweets. All I heard leading into this game was, oh, no, don't delete these, don't disable comments, don't delete your channel. Epidemic of deleting posts from these guys. The other thing I saw, if we run the table, if Colorado runs the table, No one gonna care about this Georgia Tech game. You ain't running the table. You ain't running the table. You couldn't even run Georgia Tech when you had them at home. And they played as awfully as they could. Haynes King, first of all, Georgia Tech ran for 320 on you. And Haynes King had a career high. Never in his life has he run for as many yards as he did against your sorry excuse for a defense. All y'all should delete your accounts. You should go outside and touch grass. You should stay off the internet because there's nothing but pain that's going to come this season for you in Boulder. I guess we'll just go around counterclockwise. Now, if you're a Colorado fan, you don't know what that is, just go ahead and click off the video. Doesn't concern you. Clemson. Now, this was different to me from the Texas-Ohio State game. Texas-Ohio State looked like two struggling offenses that had problems just going against really good defenses. I guess, side note, I do feel bad for Arch Manning. I don't think I've heard Arch Manning say anything about himself, put himself over, whatever. I don't even know. He might have given a handful of interviews his entire career. But boy, is he getting flamed on Twitter. And I mean, like 9/11, if Arch Manning was flying the plane and it missing the building, just crazy stuff. People are loving to hate on Arch Manning. By the way, haters, I get a lot of those comments from these guys. Haters is a term that 10th grade girls use before they go to cheerleading practice. You should really up your trash talk. But I do feel bad for Arch Manning. I don't feel that way for the Clemson LSU game. I felt like those are actually two pretty good offenses that went against elite defenses. Now, a lot of people are saying Cade Klubnik, look how much he's regressed, unrecognizable. I don't think you can really judge Cade Klubnik off this game, and not just because it's a week one game. He didn't have any time to do anything. I don't know if LSU has an NFL defensive line or if Clemson's offensive line is just that bad. Cade Klubnik, I think, did about everything he could. Now, did he miss some throws? Yes. But it's kind of like Haynes King in the Colorado game. He had snaps above his head. He had snaps at his feet. He had snaps that went up someone else's ass he had to try and go get. When that happens, you're not going to be comfortable as a quarterback, and you're going to make more mistakes than you usually would because you don't have the trust. When you can't really trust your offensive line or you can't trust a center exchange, it's going to affect how you play. LSU, I think, clearly the better team. They even overcome having a touchdown taken away from them from awful officiating. How long have we been playing football? Like 100 years, however long? Still have no idea what a catch is. None. Not a clue. I could pull up 40 clips for you of catch versus no catch, and we'd be no closer to understanding what a catch is versus what it isn't. LSU wide receiver clearly has possession. To me, as he crosses the plane, the ball moves a little bit. And I guess once you score, if the ball moves a nanometer, then that's not a touchdown. So as much as I'd like the ACC to have run the table, especially when they're playing a top-tier SEC team, I am glad LSU won because I would have hated for that call to change the outcome of the game. Now, it is impressive. Brian Kelly, hasn't had a win since 2017. LSU hasn't had won a week one game since 2017 or something. Brian Kelly, a guy we all love to make fun of. He's weird. He has a fake accent. He does weird molesty-type dance moves with people that are recruits of his. He's literally killed people. But impressive week one win to go into the original Death Valley and get a win against Dabo Swinney. And look, we have to play Clemson week 3. I'll do a prediction video for that, I'm sure. I still think Clemson runs Georgia Tech. I just think they're far too talented. Notre Dame. Now, there was a ton of bad blood going into this Miami-Notre Dame game. There was even a podcast that basically had to delete their entire channel, video, whatever, I don't know if you saw this. Coach Coop did a video on it, Catholics versus convicts. Which, can we just address that for a second? Because they bring the Catholic thing into it. How can anyone affiliated with that institution that just kind of kept moving around the pointy hats from place to place and the black collars from place to place when they got accused of certain things, point the finger and try and talk morality to anybody? I don't want to hear any Notre Dame fan saying they have any sort of moral high ground on anyone on any topic. Anyways, ton of bad blood going into this game. Ton of delusion from these guys. They're high. They were the national title runner-ups last year. And I do think their coach Freeman is a good coach. It wasn't until Brian Kelly left that they made a national title run like they did, right? So I don't have anything against Freeman. I can't stand Notre Dame. Nothing against your head coach. Anyone that was a Notre Dame fan posting, we prefer CARR over BECK, should delete their accounts as well. You don't know anything about football. A proven, and look, no one loves hating on Carson Beck like I do. And screw UGA, for sure. But if you're going to even go to the vein of trash talk, there has to be a thread of truth to what you're saying. No one who knows anything about football would say they take CARR over BECK. And CARR didn't play awful in this game. He made some gutsy throws. You know, he was under pressure a lot last night. Credit to Miami's defensive front. And he was able to escape pressure, made a touchdown throw, touchdown run. They kept trying to compare him to Riley Leonard, which I didn't really get. And that's the other thing with the BECK versus CARR debate that was going on before the game. Anyone in the comment section, when was the last time Notre Dame had a quarterback that anyone cared about outside of South Bend, Indiana? Name one. That Quinn cat that's a broadcaster now? Who was the last Notre Dame quarterback that you could say as a Notre Dame fan, this guy, we can put the team on his shoulders and he'll win us a game? Can't think of one. I do think BECK can be that guy for you. BECK played well. They ended up controlling this game, particularly in the first half. They did let Notre Dame come back in the second half. Look, there's always the debate of is Miami back, and the 5 national titles and whatnot. If I were to do, and I'm sure I will, a week 1 first ACC power ranking, I'd have Miami clearly at the best, as the best team in the ACC. They've got, a 17, 18-year-old kid, is it Horton, number 10, running perfect routes. How many yards receiving did that kid have? He was slashing up Notre Dame. One of the best catches I've ever seen in my life. 999 times out of 100, that's an incompletion. These Miami receivers going up and get it. Carson Beck, I thought, composed, played a good game. Cristobal gets a big win over a top 10 opponent. Week 1, what was Miami? 10th. Notre Dame was 6th. And they get to gloat now after all the, the Catholic versus convict stuff. They put that to rest. I think the ACC is Miami's to lose this year, which I'm sure they'd love to get that monkey off their back. Been in the conference 20-plus years, hadn't been able to win it. Virginia Tech. No, we said we're going counterclockwise. Here's a game that hadn't been played yet. I'll be streaming this tonight. I've made my feelings known. It is sad for North Carolina fans that I've been more right about your team in the time that I've been on this platform than any of you have. I told you Jeff Collins would retire your Hall of Fame coach that came back in his twilight years inside of a year. I was right. And I've told you that Bill Belichick is going to be a failure at North Carolina. Now, you've basically let him stick his wiener in your mouth, move it around a little bit as far as how his contract is structured. He can leave at any point for $1 million. You have to pay him, 90% of his contract or something. So at any point, he can leave and stick it to you. Have you guys seen this? This was in a New York Times article. Jordan Hudson has put a patent or a copyright or what trademark, I think it is. She's trying to trademark the term gold digger. So she can sell jewelry that says gold digger on it. There's so many similarities between these two teams, between Colorado, I think, and North Carolina this year. Now, Bill Belichick's nothing in personality like Coach Prime, but it's the same effect they're looking for, and they've even admitted this. They're hoping that he gives them a ratings boost when he comes in so that all their problems can be solved in the SEC or all their problems can be solved in the Big Ten, even though they haven't won the ACC since Jimmy Carter was in office. If you can't even win your own conference, I don't know what makes you think the SEC or Big Ten is going to make any kind of difference. Just like Deion clearly doesn't care about coaching at Colorado, ready to get out of there. Half of this, whatever mental acuity Bill Belichick has left, is tied up into whatever portfolio his girlfriend's wanting to open up, whatever new real estate deal, whatever new trademark. 90% of this game is going to be cutting to Jordan Hudson and her making an absolute fool out of North Carolina in ways that Jeff Collins could only imagine. And he gave up 70 points to James Madison. Now, they play TCU tonight. I don't know what the line is. It wouldn't matter to me. Give me TCU, however many points. I think they're favored, actually. I think they're favored even though this game's in Chapel Hill. That's interesting, isn't it? Bill Belichick said he's going to build the 33rd NFL team in Chapel Hill. How to say that you have no understanding of how college football works without saying you have no understanding of how college football works. Their best defensive player left last year in the portal. Just like last year, another team that's going to be struggling to make a bowl this year. Let's skip over Alabama to come to them last. Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech opens up with the Carolina Jackpots of South Carolina. And I think as early it is, we can go ahead and say it. Is this Brent Pry's last year? Is this his last year in Blacksburg? Virginia Tech has struggled pretty much the entire time Brent Pry's been there. They showed glimpses of what you would think would be a competitive team in this game. Drones just isn't it. I mean, how many years has he been there? Was he Johnny Manziel's age now or something? Drones might be my age now. He ain't the guy. He ain't the guy. I don't know who else you have on your team that could lead this team in. Suspect offensive line. Drones running around for his life a lot of times. But to be fair, so was Lenora Sellers. It's not like South Carolina played a great game here. But what you did do is make your legendary coach's son look like an absolute genius in this game. Go back and watch Jackpot stream. When they took the penalty to make Virginia Tech repunt, Jackpot saying, no, this is dumb, Shane Beamer stuff, Beamer ball, no. And then you let them take it back 80 yards on you. Special team snafus like that, and letting South Carolina run on you like they did, not good. South Carolina was able to pull away from this game into the third quarter, and you got Beamer balled. Virginia Tech got Beamer balled in Atlanta yesterday. I think this is going to be Brent Pry's last year, and unfortunately, the Hokies be looking for a new coach probably before the end of the year, depending on how things go. Finally, Alabama. Unrecognizable post Nick Saban. Unrecognizable. Kalen DeBoer comes in. I think he's lost 3 of 5 ranked matchups now, 4 or 5 ranked matchups. And let me just give you, as a Tech fan, a message to the Alabama fan. It's not even like you've had your day. You've had your decade. Historic national title run, best coach in college football history, that some of you are crying and commenting, oh my God, I don't know if I can watch this anymore. I can't watch this. And if it's not up to the standard, I just don't know if I can do it anymore. I mean, the majority of your fans have never seen an Alabama team that struggled on any level. You were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. I've been on here and had to eat shit sandwiches, more of the losses to Bowling Green and stuff. I had to watch Jeff Collins imagine if you went 3-9 for 3 straight years. In other words, toughen up a little bit, Bama fans. My God. My God. Now, I know why you want to run off. You let a guy that got benched and quit from Boston College talk shit to you and back it up. My God, the score was flipped from what I thought it was. What was it, 31-17 or something? I don't even know. I figured that'd be the way Florida State looked is the way I thought Alabama would look. And shame on Alabama. I successfully ran the Florida State fan into oblivion last year, right off the internet, and you brought them back. I never thought it would be you. I feel like Star Wars. You were supposed to be the chosen one. You've turned to the dark side and given life back to the Florida State fan. Ty Simpson looks lost. Ty Simpson looks scared. Ty Simpson's running from his life. There's nothing about Alabama in that game that Florida State didn't absolutely push your shit in. Now, to the Florida State fan. I know you guys, you can find thousands of posts on Twitter. Oh, Florida State fans saying, guess it's going to be us in Miami in the ACC title. Just forgetting every bit of last year. Here's what you need to remember about last year if you're a Florida State fan. Remember when I said after we beat you week 1, I don't know how good Georgia Tech is because Florida State might not be a very good team. You can go check that receipt if you want. I did say that. What's more likely? That Florida State with Thomas Castellanos is 20 times the team they were last year? Or that these guys have fallen from grace and just aren't that good? Is it possible that Bama struggles to make a bowl this year? Keep that in mind. And look, I will give Florida State their flowers. Hell, they've come out of the woodwork and commenting on months-old videos of mine. I haven't heard from them in a year. Gus Malzahn called a great game. Gus Malzahn built the offense around the strengths of Thomas Castellanos. Gus Malzahn is running the Georgia Tech offense from last year. Congratulations. Congratulations for being as competent on offense as Georgia Tech was last year. Gus Malzahn came in. He said, who has a running quarterback that does the best with them? Haynes King in Georgia Tech. Control C, Control V. And so really, you should be thanking WreckTalk for your victory over Alabama and not Gus Malzahn. So that's what I have to say about this week's games. I'll be streaming this North Carolina game tonight. We'll probably do one of these WreckTalk reports a week. And y'all have a good one.